Okay, there we go. Anyone
Okay.
that's over on
Yeah.
YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and go to the community, and there is a link to join the Zoom if you'd like, or you could just be in watch mode over on YouTube. It's fine. Here, let me put the link in the chat over there. There we go. All right. How's everyone doing today?
Good, man.
Yeah,
Got got drop share working with S3,
nice.
and I'm building a custom landing page in
Did,
Rapid.
did Josh help you out?
No, I did it on my own.
Nice. Good on you.
Look at me. It took a minute, but I got it. Yeah, the hardest
There,
part was
Gavin.
was actually setting up the SSL to work with the I didn't know you had to do an alternate domain.
Mm,
And yeah, that was not exactly clear. And so I got it though.
sweet.
Mm.
Dr. Bob, JR, Matt, how's everyone doing today?
Great.
Sweet. I do have to say, I apologize right now for all my coughing, and if I mute myself to blow my nose or something like that, sorry. It's it's just that's my life for the past 3 weeks.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Been there, done that
Yeah.
in the past 3 days. That's why I'm
Yeah.
in my office.
It's been like crazy cold in the Bay Area too. Although it seems to be warming up a little bit this week at least. Although it is raining right now.
Well, if I look out my window, I see snow about
Well.
maybe a half inch.
We went from snow
And
and
it was
sub-zero weathers to 80 degrees this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
we were
Texas. Yeah, you guys went crazy extremes.
Yeah. Yeah.
we were
Welcome to
Yeah,
clear,
Butch
Texas.
showing
we were
off. He's probably
clear
wearing
and everything
shorts.
yesterday, so it was interesting.
Oh,
Ah.
Walk up to this crap and it's like, oh great, I gotta go shovel the walks. Anyway, fun day. Anyway.
Where are you, Butch?
Scottsdale,
Where?
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Right, come on.
well, in the summer I can make fun of you. So I'm like, I'm not melting.
Joe, Joe, we have another house someplace else. So yeah, you
Oh,
leave here
nice.
too.
Okay, smart man, smart man. Excellent. Okay, so I don't really have a crazy pinpoint agenda for today. There was obviously I posted yesterday on the community, and all the topics that people wanted to chat about were about Total CMS. So I figure we'll just start there. Let me find that post. And answer a couple questions that I've been getting, common questions about the Total CMS training, the live training that's going to happen starting next week, actually. Um, it's a long one. It's not just like a live stream. Okay, it's going to be like an entire day at the summit. Okay, so it'll be like a whole shebang, right? I'm going to go for probably 5 hours. Okay, we'll have breaks though, but it will be a long one. And I'll try to record into individual. I've broken it down into an agenda and various topics. Each one's about 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes a piece. And yeah, so I will be recording them. And that's one reason why I spread them out over so many dates is if you're not live, you can then watch the recording and maybe get ready for the next one, right? So I thought it was kind of interesting to spread those out over a course of about 6 weeks or so. So okay, let me find that post. Hmm. Where was that? I think I put it in the pub. Just go there. Yeah, there we go. Hey, so I guess first one was from Matthias. So instead of me reading it, Matthias, you're here. So you want to know about custom collections. Now, you want a custom collection, or are you talking about custom schemas? You're muted.
Okay, it's been about custom schemas, of course.
Okay.
I did succeed in a way with the help of Jochen Abitz today. So
Mhm.
I was able to build a custom schema. That doesn't mean that you don't show it today again
Sure. Mhm.
for the others, but I'm currently stuck with one thing, importing images from a CSV file.
Mhm.
Is it okay if we start with that for a second? I think it's only 1 minute for you or two.
Sure.
Yeah,
It should be a pretty simple one.
yeah, I think
So
so. Should I
obviously
share my?
CSV files don't support images, right? Um,
I have the full
so
path in there.
you put, yes, you have to have the full path to the image on your machine, right?
Yes. Should I share my screen and show you?
Sure. Why don't you do that? Yep. That'd
Okay.
probably be easier than me trying to set it all up.
So, um, you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is the custom collection. I actually, this is my first one, and I edit my image manually just for
Uh-huh.
testing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I go back and I have over 50 persons I have to import. This
Okay.
is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The import went fine, just great, but without the image.
Okay.
And now I show you the CSV file for that. No, no, these are the guys who have to be imported. Where is here? Okay, this is the CSV file. It's ID, name, position, location, phone, email tag, all working. Title, all working.
Uh-huh.
And here's image.
Okay.
And okay, here is the
I
data,
see. Okay. So
and here's the image.
you put the
Yeah,
URL to an image.
yeah.
It
I
needs to
thought
be
I have to.
nope, it needs to be the path to the image on your server. So you have to have the image on your server. So you need to upload, let's say, a folder of images to your server,
I have done
and then
so.
you need to put the path to where that is on your server. Okay.
I have done
Okay.
so.
Okay. But
Mhm.
without, so you need to have the full path. So where is your server? Do you have transmit or something like that open
Yes,
to your
of course,
server?
I have it even open. Okay, here is my the subdomain of the client website I'm
Perfect.
currently working
Okay.
on.
So at the
Okay,
root level where you see www.43yourserver.de, right click on that where it says your
uh,
server. Yeah,
ah,
right click on that.
right click here.
Yeah, right click there. Yeah, in transmit.
It doesn't
Oh,
work.
you can't
It
right click on that? Oh.
No. Here also no. Here I can click.
Mm. Oh, interesting. They hide that from you. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you need to have so in your RapidWeaver publishing settings,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm. Just a second. Where is here? Oh no. Just a second. Publishing. No, that's not. This is the path. Yeah, okay.
Mm.
And
So
I have,
it
yeah,
I doubt it's slash public HT. Yeah, that's not so
it's working. Yeah.
yeah. No, I know I understand that's working. That's because you're log that's the way FTP works. Click on the browse button. I'm wondering, can
Yeah,
you click on the
yeah,
browse button?
yeah. Mm, mm,
Mm.
yeah.
So I e- I'm sure it's not slash public H. Oh, I got an idea. Okay. Total CMS 3 is installed on this, right?
Yes.
Okay, go to server info. That's how we're
Uh,
going to do it.
okay, just a second. Server info, is it here?
Utils, under
Okay.
utils, and then the server
Yeah.
checker. Sorry, server checker.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's scroll. There it is. Okay, so
Here.
that. So we need to copy that.
Yes, I do. Okay. Okay. And
Okay.
on this path, there is a folder named Media and Ansprechpartner. It's
Okay, so basically, so what that path is that's where your website is, right?
yeah, yeah,
So that is where your doc root is. That's where it exists on the server, right?
yeah.
And so that's what we need to put in place of the domain in your CSV file.
Mhm. So it's not HTTPS and so on.
Yes,
It's until here, and then there is
correct.
the media folder and
Yep,
Ansprechpartner.
exactly.
That would be great if that would work.
Yes.
I just
Now,
save it.
I would strongly recommend that if you have control over these file names, you don't put a space, but I mean,
I know.
it should still work, but
I have already converted the spaces with %20 here. Here
Okay.
you see.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Everything with ChatGPT. Okay, yeah. And I have saved it, and now I go back to my admin area and try to re-import it. Okay.
Now, actually, to import, I actually wouldn't have the %20s, because the
Okay.
%20 is a web browser thing, but this doesn't happen in the browser; it happens on the server. So yeah.
I delete the contact again.
Okay.
I leave my own, and now I go and import. Choose the CSV file. It's this one, and my import looks good. Refresh. Okay, here it is, and ta-ta-ta. Yes.
There we go.
Thank you. That's it.
No problem. Now, if you have a
Great.
gallery, okay, you can do this with galleries too.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So what you would do is in your CSV. So in the CSV, you put the path to the actual image. Okay. Now with a gallery though, with a gallery, you might want many images. Correct.
Yeah.
So what you would do is instead of the path to a file, you give it a path to a folder, and then it will import every image that it sees inside that folder.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yes. Thanks. And after this import, I can delete that folder.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in the system then. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. It only needs to be there for the import.
Yeah. Okay. Great, Joe. Thank you. Okay.
No problem.
Now, others can ask their questions.
Sweet.
Of course.
Before I dive into it, does anybody else have questions about schemas? Would you like me to review how to build your own schema? I know a lot of people. Okay, we can do that. I got a couple thumbs up, so let's go ahead and we'll dive into that.
Okay.
You got to have the pro to do this, right?
Say that again.
You have to have the pro version for this.
Yes, I was just about to go into that. So for those of you that are completely don't know what a schema is, Total CMS. Excuse me for a second. This will be challenging today. Sorry, guys. So Total CMS allows you to save data. Okay. And so one obviously thing is going to be like, let's say a blog. Okay. That's going to be we'll give this as an example because I think everybody understands what a blog is. Okay. So these are all just test posts on my server. Okay. But what is a blog? So a blog is, I guess we should go back. A blog is a list of blog posts, right? So in this case, I have 13,000 blog posts here. And then each blog post has the same type of data, right? So it has an ID, it has a title, it has a flag for whether or not it's a draft, has an author, feature, date, image, categories, tags, summaries, a content area. It has a media link if you have like maybe a YouTube video. So this is kind of what I've designed what a blog post is, right? Okay. Now, in Total CMS 1, I think most of you in here have probably used Total CMS 1. We used to, for lack of a better term, completely bastardized blog. And we would use it for all kinds of things, right? Because they're like, okay, well, I have a blog and it has these 10 fields, and I'm going to try to use these fields to create a product catalog, right? And I'm going to use the author field for price, and I'm going to use the summary for whatever, right? So, we try to like manipulate it, but obviously a blog only has a limited number of fields because it's built to be a blog. Okay. So that's why Total CMS 3 takes us to the next level where we can define what we want. Okay. And those definitions are all stored in a schema. Okay. So out of the box, Total CMS comes with a lot of schemas. The light version comes with most of the out of the box ones, the ones that it doesn't come with blog, and it doesn't come with depot. Okay. It does come with something called a feed, which is a very light version of a blog. It's a very simple blog. Okay. So even with the light version, you can do some sort of blogging, okay, with something called a feed. And you see feed has these limited number of fields. So in a feed, we have an ID, a featured field, a title field, a created and updated, and an image in our content. Right? So again, much more limited to what we saw in the blog, but it's enough to create something simple, right? So that's why if we look at what a blog is, what is a blog post? And this is what a blog post is. All those fields that we saw in that form. Okay, it's just kind of in a more condensed. We have nice little icons to kind of show us what type of data it is. So summary is style text, media is a link. These featured and drafts are going to be little they're toggles in there, but they're checkbox type fields, right? We have image and gallery, which are image fields. Now, if we were to click on these, we can then go and define more information about it. So like we can provide the label think of the schema as also kind of like a form builder. Okay. This allows us to build our form for what that thing is. Okay. Is this making sense? Any questions before I move on? Okay. Now the built-in schemas, they are read only. You cannot change them. So like if you saw when I clicked on these, all these fields were read only because they're here so you can look at them and maybe learn from them, but they are not editable. Okay. So everything that's in these built-in schemas, you cannot change that. They are hard-coded. It is something that I've determined. Okay. Now, blog is probably the most complex built-in one. Okay. But there's simple ones like a color. A color is just an ID and a color. That's all it is. Okay. If we go to date, guess what that is? It's an ID and a date. Most of these are very simple, right? If we go to file, guess what? It's an ID and a file. That's all that is. Okay. So, but what if I wanted to create something custom that was my own? Okay. Let's say I wanted to create a product. Okay. So I can go inside.
Are you sharing
product.
your screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't see it, make sure you could be looking at there's tabs in Zoom now. You might be going to make sure you go to the screen share tab. If maybe you clicked on you see it, Bill?
No, I've done something wrong.
Here, I'll just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Hey,
I did.
now, how about now, Bill?
See you now.
All right, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So here I have a custom schema. I called it products. Okay. Now, this is my test server, and I kind of use this collection as like all kinds of testing stuff. So some of these fields might not make sense for a product, right? But I could build something that is a product, right? So I have an ID. Obviously, everything requires an ID. Okay, that's the one required field in a schema. Okay, so you have to have an ID. But then here I have a name, and the name, you could define the type of data, what type of form field you want that to be. Okay, so it's a string, which is text data. Okay, and then we can choose what type of form field that we want. Here I just want a normal text input. Okay, then you can define the label and placeholders and help text and all that jazz that shows up in the form field. Okay. Then you can define custom settings for this field, which I'm not going to dive into right now. Okay, but so what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to add in all kinds of stuff, right? So here, let's create a new one. Okay, just for fun. Let's actually create a my product field, because I think product is makes sense. Okay. So I called it my product. Yeah, I won't give it a description and all that jazz. Okay. So here we're going to start off with ID. We'll just keep that. Okay. And I'm going to click this plus button. And obviously my product needs a name. Okay. So I'm going to give it a name. And it's going to be a string and text, which is the default. And let's just call this name. Okay. And we're going to close that. And then we're going to add another one. And so the next one is going to be maybe price. Okay. So every product has a price. So we're going to click on that. Now in here, price is not a string, right? It's a number. Okay. And then if I go into here, you'll actually notice that these are kind of grouped. So if you look at this, these are text string fields. So these are all kind of text-based fields. We have Boolean fields, which are a text box or a toggle. Then we have number fields. And inside number fields, I actually have a price field. So I'm going to go ahead and click on price. Okay. And then I'm going to say price. Okay. And here we'll add every product needs an image. Okay. So we're going to do an image there. And this type of data is going to be an image. And the form field, obviously, it's going to be an image because there's only one way to add an image. It's an image field. So we're going to call that image. And we'll just add one more. We'll just do description. Or anyone else have any other cool fields that you want to add? Okay, we'll do description. That's a string. It's text. We'll do a text area though, so that we'll do style text. Okay, we'll do style text so we can add some stuff. Okay, and we'll add one more. We'll add like an active. So we can like deactivate products or something like that, right? So then this one is going to be a Boolean type, okay, which is true, false. And in here, we're going to do Boolean fields, and let's do a checkbox. Okay. And we're just going to say active product. We're going to close that.
Joe?
Yes, sir.
This is non-database, correct?
This is not a database. Everything Total CMS does not have a database.
Okay.
But this is very database-like.
Yeah.
I'm even using a schema, which is a database term, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it's very similar.
Yep. It's all flat file based. So there's no databases involved. I mean, technically you could say what I've built is a database, but it's not a traditional MySQL database.
Right.
Okay?
Right. The relationships don't exist there.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you can build relationships. Okay. Yes, you can. Okay. And what's cool is you can actually drag and drop these around. So, like I said, this is kind of like a form builder. So you can actually move these around, depending on what you want, right? So maybe we want name, price, image, or description, and then price, right? Oops, that didn't work. Price. Yeah, that's good, right? So we're going to save that. So now I've created a definition of what my product is. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So now that I've created a schema, basically the definition of what my product is going to be, how do I create my products? Okay. And that's something called a collection. Okay. So we're going to create a new collection and we're going to call that my products. Okay. I'm using that because I already have one called products. So I'm just adding my to it, everybody. Okay. Products is probably a better name, but I don't want to delete all of that. Okay. So then I select my schema. So I created a schema called my product. So I'm going to select that. So what this is saying is every object that I add to this collection needs to conform to the my product schema. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about anything else in here. I'm just going to save that. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, let's add a new object. Now, when I added a new object in my products, you'll see that I have an ID. I have, I can activate my product. I can type in a name to my product. We can type in a description, right? So, cool product. Okay. Lorem, and we can make this style text. So we can say, I want that to be bold, so on and so forth. Okay. Well, this is actually the new style text editor, everybody. If you didn't know, I'm working on replacing the existing style text editor. And this is a new one. Okay. So it's not done yet. It's still a work in progress, but this is it. Okay. We can give it a price. So I don't know, 9.99, right? We can upload an image. Okay, whatever. And then I can save. Now, one thing is, here's an ID. Now that you could just manually type in an ID, and by default, it doesn't auto-generate one. But the ID field has a lot of cool stuff. And but for right now, let's just do product 1. I don't know. Okay. And let's make it active. And we're going to save. And it's saving everything. And voila, I now have my first object that I created. Okay. And I can go ahead and add a new one. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do right now is, and if we go back to my products, if you didn't know, this little breadcrumb up here are clickable, right? So instead of having to like find your collection over here, you can just click it right there. Okay. So that's nice. And you'll see that I have the product 1 here. Okay. Now, a couple things. Having to manually type in ID is not great. IDs should be automated, right? For the most part. So, and there's a lot of flexibility here. I won't dive into all the ins and outs, but I'll show you a very simple example. Okay. So let's go back into our schema. Oh, another shortcut actually that a lot of people aren't aware of. Let me just go back here. If you're here and you're like, oh, I want to edit this schema, you can actually go up here and just say edit schema. Okay. Instead of having to click on schema, find your schema, you can just quickly click on there and it'll take you directly to your schema. Okay. Which is nice. I'll admit, even sometimes I forget about that. Oh, excuse me 1 second. I have to breathe. 1 second. Okay, good. I can breathe again. Okay. So in here, if we go into the ID field, okay, you know, earlier I glossed over it, but there are settings. Okay. And what settings can we add for an ID? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and let's search the docs here. So we're going to click on that and that's going to bring up the documentation. Okay. Now I use a browser called Arc that I can option click and it opens off on the side, which is really cool. That would open in a new tab in other browsers. Okay. But what I'm going to here, I'm going to type in auto gen. Okay. Inside this, let me move this zoom window out of the way. Okay. And so I'm in the Total CMS documentation, and I search for auto gen, and I'm going to go right here and click on that, and it's going to take me directly to where we want. Well, almost. That's auto gen, but that's not the one I'm looking for. This is the one I'm looking for, ID auto gen. Okay. I've worked really hard on the docs. I think there's some more, some better organization work that could be done, but I've worked really hard on making sure that every feature that I've added is documented in here. Okay. So, it can be overwhelming because there's a lot, because I've added a lot of features. Okay. But yeah, so in auto gen here, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Okay. And I'm going to paste it directly into my schema. Okay. Now there's some some interesting options here, and I'm actually going to go with this one called OID. Okay, and let's show you a quick example. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and copy this exact one. This is the exact one we're going to use. What's kind of cool is, I guess before I'll give a quick overview, there's some keywords here, like now we'll put in the current timestamp. You can do like the current year. And what it will do is it'll put in that dynamic data into your ID. And then if you notice here, like this says title dash now, this title, what it will do is it'll look at the title field, and whatever you've typed into that, it'll bring it into the ID, which is super cool. Okay. So like in our product, I used name, right? So we could put name in there. Okay. And that way, like before I did my product, the ID of that would be, the name would be my dash product, right? So yeah, pretty cool how the name can be, used, or any field can be used to auto gen an ID. Okay. Okay. But with
So
that,
once you've got a collection built, and
Mhm.
you've got an ID in,
Yep.
and then you realize that the ID you used is just messed up.
Mhm.
Can you um, rewrite the ID without screwing up your whole collection?
Yes, there's a couple ways we could do that. Let me go through this, and then I'll go through that. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. So I'm going to use this option here, which is just product dash, and then OID gives you an order, right? So this is going to be product dash 0001, product dash 0002, and the number of zeros is the leading zeros before the product ID. Okay. So we're going to save that. Okay. And we're going to save that. All right. And we're going to go back to my collection. My products, new object. Oh, I don't need this window anymore. Let's go ahead and close that. Okay. And if you notice now, okay, I have product dash 003. Okay. And that happened automatically. Okay. And so it doesn't matter what I add into the name field. Had I done that $name, whatever I type in here would be automatically added to the ID. Okay. Which is pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff with IDs. And that docs has settings for every field, has its own different types of settings. Style text has a lot, even price fields, image uploads have a lot. If you want to like limit the size of the images that can be uploaded, or, if you want to add constraints to what the image is on upload, there's settings for that, right? So there's all kinds of settings for every type of field. And they're all documented. And you can kind of just copy and paste them and modify them to be what you need. Okay. Now let's talk about IDs. Any more questions on that's kind of, nuts and bolts of, I created a custom schema, created a collection for that, and now I can add as many objects as I want. Any questions there? Nope. Okay. I guess one thing I should note, if you notice here, there's only one field showing here, which is ID. Okay. There's a very important concept of something called the index. Okay. And by default, only the ID is added to the index. Okay. But you are going to want to add more. And essentially, if you want to see something here, you need to add it to the index. And if you want, excuse me, if you want to, as we're displaying content on our websites, okay, let me go ahead and show you an example here. I'm going to go, I've shown this site before many times, okay? So as you know, this is a custom collection. This is all Total CMS 3. And as I'm displaying these campsites, okay, this is looping through and showing like a summary of all of the objects, okay, or all campsites. If I want to display data in this view, okay, without actually having to go into the individual objects page. So when we go to an object page, we have access to all data, okay? But when we're in this view here, okay, we have access to limited data. We don't have access to all data. And basically what you do is you have access to everything that's inside the index. So you do have control over what is in here. But with control comes great power and responsibility, as the saying goes. And so you want to have just the right amount of data that you need in the index. I know some people are like, I'm just going to add everything to the index. And my things have 200 properties in, and I want everything access. Well, you might eventually find some slowness because that's a lot of data, okay? If you're familiar with databases, like Butch was saying, I use the term index because it's very similar to what something an index in a database is, okay? So it's where we can quickly access certain amounts of data quickly, okay? And again, the faster your index will be faster with the least amount of data that you have in there. So you need to find a balance of what's useful and what you really need and don't need. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Now, how do you add something to the index? Super easy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and edit the schema. Okay, and inside the schema, you'll notice that there's two tag fields here. There's one for required and one for index. So if you have some fields that are required, like I want to make sure that it has a description and a name and a price. Okay, that's my requirements. And index, I want to make sure I have image, name, price, and active in my index. I don't need the full description, maybe. Okay, so that could be something that, and you probably want to have an image to be required too, right? So in this case, I have a very small amount of fields, so I am adding a lot to the index in terms of percentage, right? But it's what I need, okay? Because inside that grid, now if I go ahead and save this, then if I go back to my collection, okay, well, what we'll notice here is now I see all the data that I added to the index here. Okay. And then if you had multiple, you can go ahead and sort by these columns and you can filter stuff out with a quick search here and all that jazz. Okay.
Am I correct in saying we cannot do this in the standard version?
No, you can. But with blog. So again, you can't create a custom schema like I did with products, but you can, I mean, inside blog, you have access to this entire collection view. Again, you can't edit the blog schema, so you can't, change what's in the index. Again, I define that for you, but you have access to this entire view. Okay. What specific question were you wondering about? Like, can you do that in standard?
I'm just thinking if I've got a standard schema, I'm not seeing everything in the index that I want to. How do I add something?
You
to
can't.
That?
You cannot edit schemas in standard.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you can see what's in the index. If you go to blog, you can see all the properties that I've added to the index.
But I can't change it.
you cannot change it. It's
Okay.
as you see here, the schema, you can see it, you can see everything, but you cannot change it. Okay.
But I can change this field specs.
You can change, yes, you can change things like if you wanted to like update the form placeholder or something like that, you can do that inside the collection.
Okay.
Maybe I can show that a little bit later. Okay. Okay, so we wanted to talk about updating IDs. Okay, so there's two different ways you could do that. There might be more, but I think this is probably the two ways I would suggest. So if you just wanted to do like one, okay, what you could do here is I would go here and say clone. Okay, and what this will do is this will say, hey, what do you want to clone it to? What collection? Because maybe you want to clone this object to a different collection. Okay, which you can do. That other collection needs to support the same schema though. Okay, so you can this is a way of like copying objects between different collections. Okay, if you wanted. But right now I only have one collection that supports this type of data, which is my products. And here you just type in the new ID that you want. So let's say I wanted this to be product-1, which is kind of like the format that we used, and I can click clone. Now, what that will do is it will create a clone. Okay. You're like, oh, I didn't change the ID. Well, then all you'd have to do is go into this one and just delete. So it is a copy feature, but you can use it as changing the ID. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Another method, which works really well. I did this with Dr. Bob, who's here, and he created his collections, and somewhere along the line, he decided to change what his IDs looked like. Okay. And so what you could do is you can go ahead and in here, let's say I want to, I'm going to export. Okay. So first you would go and you would export, and I would say export to CSV. Okay. So I'll actually do that. I'll export to CSV. I mean, this is a small one. It's only going to be one object, right? And then in here, so I have product ID, or let's go ahead and yeah, okay. Okay. So now I have a CSV of my data. Okay. What you can do is you can actually modify all of these, okay, to be what you need. Okay. Now, when I go to import this, let's just call this new product. Okay. Now, what I did with Bob, we were doing a one-on-one session and I'd helped him with this. What we had done is he exported his entire collection to a CSV. And now luckily this particular collection didn't have any images, if I'm correct, Bob, right? I think it was data only. So, this might require a couple extra steps if you had images and files, but if you have really text only, excuse me. Okay. What you would then do is you can then go into import, and then you can import that CSV file. Okay. Now, I'll go ahead and import that. Now we saw earlier, I was helping Matthias with the import process, how you can actually use the import process to do images. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I know this has an image, but I'm not going to try to configure the CSV to path. You already saw me do that with Matthias. Okay. Now I'm going to click import collection. And what that will do is, oops, what happened? Oh, I don't think I saved. Oh, I didn't save. Let me do that again. There it is. There we go. So now I have two products in here. I have a broken image because there was no image, and there was actually image data in that CSV, but yeah. But like I said, I now changed the ID. I can then go ahead and delete this one. Okay. Or one strategy you could do is either create a brand new collection to import them into that have all fresh, new, clean IDs. Okay. So that's kind of a way of batching things. If you needed to batch, probably the cleanest way, what I did with Bob is we basically just pretty much emptied out the collection and then re-imported all fresh new data. It was the same data we had when we exported, but we just changed the IDs and then imported all new as they were new objects. Okay.
Oh, we changed the definition of the ID in the schema, right?
That's
So
true
that,
too. Yeah. Here.
yeah,
Okay.
so
We'll
that
do
when
one
it,
more thing. Here, we'll do one more thing. I'll delete this. Okay. And then, getting a little bit into the weeds here. What I'm going to do is
yeah,
during the import process, as long as, if you remember, our ID field can be auto-genned. Okay. It's automatically generated. Okay. Now, if that's true during your CSV process, you actually don't need an ID field. Okay. So I can delete this entire column. Okay. So I'm going to say save. Okay. So now this is just raw data. It doesn't have an ID, but because I've told Total CMS how to generate the IDs, it will automatically do it for me. So we can go ahead and go to the import process. And just for kicks, or I'll delete that image data that's in there. So that doesn't do that. All right. And let's go ahead and choose again. And we're going to import. Uh-oh. What I do? I think it didn't like
required.
Oh, required. Oh, image was required. Hold on 1 second, guys. And I didn't supply an image. We're just gonna ignore that right now. We're gonna make image not required. And let's go back. And we're gonna choose that file again. Import. Oh. Oh, well, it was. Oh, interesting. There must have been some sort of error, but it still imported it. Okay. So as you see, it created 5 and 6 in there because I did that twice. Now you might be wondering why 5 and 6 when shouldn't it be 2? Well, as I was doing other stuff when we imported it before, it keeps a counter of what it's done. So it always increments that counter. So when I created another product and then I imported the one with the CSV file, that incremented that counter each time for how many objects it's created. So it doesn't analyze existing IDs. It keeps track and increments that counter every time we create a new object. Okay. So you could potentially have gaps depending on what you've done. If you've added something and then deleted it later on, it's not going to recreate something with that ID, which I think is a good thing. Okay. Okay. Kind of went down that ID rabbit hole. Does that answer any questions? And anyone else have any other questions on that, what we've kind of shown?
Yeah, me, maybe.
Sure. What's
Okay. Let's just share my screen again.
Okay.
Okay. Um, okay. As you see here in my custom schema, my first one, I
Yeah.
have used this the feature to style my form, to have the fields not underneath each other only, but
Very nice. Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Question regarding that. I go into the schema of that.
Mhm.
Okay, I've done this here.
Okay.
Okay, let's make it bigger.
Mhm.
It's working, so it must be correct. But I have 4 columns. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
name, position. How granular can I be? Do I only have 4 columns, or maybe 5 or 6, so I can?
You can add as many columns as you want,
So I
but
can find it.
every row has to have the same number of
Yeah.
columns.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
now for your layout, to be honest, like if you just wanted that layout, you're fine with 2 columns, right?
Yeah.
But again, in the
Yeah.
future, if you wanted something like a really tiny column, then yes, then a really tiny field, then
Yeah.
you could go ahead and do that.
Okay. So
And
here,
while we're doing that, here I
yeah.
can show you some cool tricks in there if that maybe you didn't know about.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Go back to edit that the form grid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, just let me explain this to everybody what he's doing
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we look at his form grid layout, what he's done is so if you notice, those are all the names of his fields or his properties. Okay. So those are all the names of his properties. And he basically, with text, he's creating a little grid layout with all of his fields. Okay. So what he's doing is essentially creating a 4x5 table.
Bento.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
I think it's
rows.
5. One,
Six.
two, oh, 6.
Six.
Okay, 4x6,
6.
right? So and what's important here is every row, if you notice, he does ID, space ID, space ID, space ID. Okay. What that says is, hey, for this first one, I want the ID to go the entire width. Okay. And then if you look at his second row where he has name, position, position, what that does is it puts the name, basically it's 50%, right? Because it's going to take up half and half, right? But what's cool with this is you can really make things, take up different amounts of space, and you can build some very interesting layouts.
Is that the same principle as Bento?
It's where I stole this idea from. It's from the Bento name stack. Yeah, Bento names, I think it was. Oh shoot, I forget the name of the stack. But yeah. So yes, it is. This idea was completely 1000% stolen from Bento. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I know eventually it'd be really great to have like a visual layout tool, but I think this is pretty decent for now. Okay. All right, now how can we make this a little bit better? Bento areas. Thank you, Steve. Okay, let's say under your ID field, you wanted a line. Okay, so what you could do, Matthias, is do a new line there.
Yeah, of course.
And then do 3 dashes.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Okay, and save that.
Yeah.
Now go view your form. There you go. So it's a way of kind of breaking up now this is a very small form, but if you had a big form that had a lot of fields, this can give you a little bit of space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do one more. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the schema and let's say, how about after the tag? Let's do after tag. Okay. Do a new line.
Yep.
Okay, and do 3 dashes.
Mm-hmm.
And do, I don't know, the word contact. No space. Just do the word contact.
Oh, okay.
And then 3 lines again.
3, yeah.
Yep,
dashes.
perfect.
Yep. Okay.
And save that.
Okay. With a gradient. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, that gives us a nice little header that is an attractive way of giving your sections to your forms.
Wow, more.
Yeah. Okay. And let's say, for example, see you have a title in your whatever. Let's say that field you only wanted it to be 50%, and you wanted nothing next to it. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that was that field.
Yeah. This. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So let's go to the schema.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that is title. So for the second 2, okay, instead of title, you're just going to put dot space dot. So instead of title, you're going to do a dot.
Oh no! You have to know that.
Yes, the dot is basically like, hey, leave this empty.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
okay,
that's
now save that.
Correct. Yeah, I needed that.
There you go.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So yeah, that form grid is you could do a lot with that. I know it's a simple syntax. Something that if you really if you had a lot and maybe it was hard to read, something you could do is you could line up the names. Let's take the name and the location lines. Let's go to the name line, okay, and just put spaces in front of the second name until it reaches the location.
Okay.
Just put space.
One,
So
two,
space,
three,
space.
four,
Yeah, right there.
five.
Nope.
Oh, four. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe then go to position and
Yeah.
move that to be where tag is.
The first one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then
One.
maybe now you go down to tag in the
Yeah.
second one, and you put spaces there to line up with position.
Okay.
So there you go. I mean, so this is kind of a way where you can visually, if you wanted to see how everything lined up, you could do
Okay.
this.
It's only
So
for this
if you were to
view.
save this, it would be the same exact thing, but it's
Yeah.
just so when you're looking at this, it could be better.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. So this is then the same as
It's going to be exactly the same. Yeah.
before. Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, any spaces that you added is just ignored.
Okay. Okay. So I can lay out here in this
Yeah,
view.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Because sometimes that's maybe a little bit nicer to see how everything is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Thank you so much.
No problem.
The dots are very important. Yeah. Yeah. And this one.
Yes.
This one. Do you have some more? No. Yeah.
Nope, that's it. That's all the tricks.
Yeah, that's enough. It's okay.
You will notice if you add a new, now I'm going to try to fix this in the next release, but if you add a property and then you forget to add it in the grid layout, it's going to show up like on the bottom right corner of your form.
Yeah,
It's not going to, yeah. So if you see that happening, it means it's not in the form grid. I'm going to try to make it automatically kind of position it better. But yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah.
I did miss the ID field because I didn't think of it, and then I saw it afterwards in the right bottom edge.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, great. And the whole thing breaks if I only would do this now and save it. The whole
Yes,
thing
that
breaks.
yeah. Do it if you don't mind. Save it so everybody can see.
Yeah, of course, no problem. I know what I've done, and now I think everything will be in one line under each other. Let's see.
No, yeah. So yeah, you have, and again, that's because you have to make sure that the number of columns in each row is exactly the same.
Yeah. Oh, Salah, what did I do now? No, it's okay. It's one of these guys. Okay, tag.
Perfect.
Let's save. Yeah. Okay. And here we go again. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, great. What a great product. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
cool. Thank you,
slowly
Matthias.
getting into it.
Huh?
I'm slowly getting into it.
Yeah. It's really powerful.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Okay, thank you. I just
No
stopped
problem.
my sharing. Yeah, you did. Okay.
All right, next up, who's next?
I can go next.
Sure.
So I guess I have either a feed or a blog question.
Okay.
Shit, I wasn't expecting this so quick. I gotta open shit up. Hang on.
If someone else has another question, we can take someone else.
I couldn't figure out how to access tags.
Okay, we can do that. Why don't I do that, Dave, and then we can come back to you. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. I better share my screen. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's open up a project here. So where are you hoping to put tags? Like, what are you hoping to do with it? I mean, Bill.
I wanted to use it, for example, if I give you a tag of yellow and I give somebody else a tag of blue, I just want the blue guys and I just want the yellow team be able to
So you want
separate
to
them out.
filter based on those tags. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we can do that. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to blog here. All right, perfect. And I'm even displaying tags here. Okay. So this page is no, not that one. Well, actually, here, so everybody can see. So in here, essentially all of these are tag fields. Okay, so like I can click on camper van. Obviously, this is a very fancy form that I've built. And you can click on whatever and you click search and it filters. These are tags. Okay, and then it'll filter these by those particular tags. Okay. Now let's look at a simpler solution.
Tags and categories operate basically the same, right?
They are exactly the same. It's just one's called tags, the other one's called categories. There's no difference on how they behave. Okay.
You shouldn't be out of bed.
I feel okay. It's just this, yeah, the stuffy sinuses. So sorry about all that. Okay. Let's go to blog. See what I have here. I have a search field, but we can customize that to be tags. Okay, so in here I have a very simple blog list, and I'm even displaying the tags down here at the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll build a simple little filter based on these tags. Okay, very common thing that you want to do. All right, and just to keep this smaller, I'm actually going to remove this summary from here, and let's display more than 3. Let's do 9. Okay. All right. Here I'm going to bastardize this a little bit. I'm not going to use search. Okay, we're just going to we're going to get rid of that too. Okay. So this is actually using a Foundation 6 form. Okay. And that's going to be what we actually submit the filter to do. Okay. So we're going to create a small little form that's going to do the filtering for us. Okay. So in Foundation 6, we're going to use a select box. Where am I doing? Oh, here, select box. Okay. Now, one thing we want to do is we want to populate the select box with all existing tags from my blog. Okay. So how do we do that? Okay. And so first off, this select input, let's call it tag. Okay. And we're just going to filter by tag. Okay. And that should be fine. Okay. And then, so what we're going to want to do is I want to display all of the tags inside this. Okay. So to do that, we need to get all that data. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and, we're going to do a, there is a stack here called prop values. Okay. And that's exactly what this was built for. Okay. So we're going to add this prop values just right above the form. Okay. And what I want to do is, this is my blog collection and I want to bring in the tags. Okay. And then, we're just going to set the variable name to be tags. Okay. And that's it. So, then inside my placeholder, I want to get all these, I have all of these tags right now, and I want to inject them and create placeholder or options inside the select box. Normally inside of a select box, you would go here and you would add a option for each individual one. Okay. And you could do that if you really wanted to, but that could be a lot, right? It's a lot of work. And why do it when we already have the data inside the CMS? Okay. Plus, if you ever add a new tag to a post, then you'd have to manually add it into here. And that's just a cluster F, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to automate it. And the way we automate things in Total CMS is through loops. Okay. So this particular one, we're going to use a for loop, which is kind of like the most generic loop. Okay. So I'm going to add this inside of my select, because I want this for loop to generate select options. Okay. I want this, think of this as a little machine, and it's going to generate a bunch of these select options because I don't want to add 50 of them manually. Does that make sense? Okay. So in here, again, this prop values, it gets all of the tags from my blog and assigns it to a variable named tags because I told it to right here. Okay. Now, actually, for fun, we'll sort these two because we want them to be sorted. Okay. Now, inside this for loop, I want, we're going to do, my loop variable is going to be tag. My array data is going to be tags. Okay. So it's basically for tag in tags. Okay. So essentially now, the word tag I can use in here. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to do tag. Oops. And the value as well. Okay. So for the label and the value, so this is going to loop through all my tags, and it's assigning each one to a variable named tag. If I wanted, I could name this variable Bill, and then inside of here, I could put Bill in here. Okay. And I can put Bill in there. That will work now.
That's
okay?
cool. That's cool.
Okay. So you have control over what that is. It just, for me, if I'm looping through tags, each one is a tag, right? So so that's why I named it tag, but we'll leave it as Bill just for fun. Okay. So so now this is generating select options for me. Okay, based on all the tags in my blog. Okay, let's publish that and make sure that that works. So here I have a list, and here's all the tags. As you see, trying to manually create all of those would suck, right? Okay, now, how do we make it filter? So if I click on this, I want this to filter, right? How do we do that? Okay, so super easy. So that is so inside of the form, okay, well, we already have a get URL action. Here, let me delete that so you can watch me add it. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to say get URL action, and then you're done. Okay. But now I could have a submit button in here. We need to be able to submit this form, but Foundation 6 has a really cool feature. If you have a form that's just the select box, you can actually do auto submit on select change. So that what that means is whenever I select something, it's going to auto submit that form for me. Okay. So we're going to use that. I'm going to do auto submit on select change. That way I don't have to have a submit button. If you didn't want this, then you could have a submit button. Okay. But I kind of like the auto submit on select change. Okay. So now I didn't really talk about, this is the grid. This is using a loop blog. And like I said earlier, the loop stacks just generate whatever you put inside of it, one for everything that it has, right? So if we look here, I created a little grid that has all of these little blog posts, and I designed those with this, okay? So I have an image and then a post title and then a date. And then if it's a featured, I put a little star SVG, and then I loop through all the tags and display them. Okay, pretty cool, right? So that's exactly what we have. We have an image, a title, a date. If it's featured, it gets a star, loops through and creates all the tags. And then I have a read more button, which then takes you to the actual blog post page. Okay, but we need to be able to filter this. Okay, we want to support filtering by tags. So all the loop stacks, or most of the loop stacks, you'll notice that there's some filter options here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on filtering. Okay. And when you do that, it adds a little plus button because you can filter by multiple things. Okay. But we're just going to filter by tags for right now. So I want to do tags. And then we're just going to say contains. And then we're going to, the value is coming from the URL. Okay. And the value here, this is very important. This URL key needs to match the name of this input. So I called this select box tag, and it needs to, and we're basically what we're going to say is we're getting the value from that form field. Okay. So if I'm going to use this select box to filter my list, this tag needs to match the URL key perfectly. Okay. Let's publish that. All right. So now, okay, so we're going to go ahead and select something. Let's select this guy right here. If you notice, it refreshed the page. Okay. Now, if we look at the URL, we'll see that it add tag equals whatever that is. Okay. And if you look, that tag is now filtered because it contains every blog post that here contains that tag. Okay. Now I know I did some complex stuff here very quickly. And it looks very simple because it is very simple, but I'm happy to answer any questions on that workflow. Okay. So again,
make sure for that select field that you show that you can disable the label.
Oh yeah. Because in the URL, I'll put the label. Yeah. In the select box, you can do hide. No, where is that? Oh, hidden. Turn that off. Because what he's saying is in here, you'll notice that it had, that it had tag label equals this and tag equals that. You can turn that off inside the select box with this hidden input for label value. Okay. And in here, I'm just adding the label and the value are the same. Okay. But you can have them to be different. For example, I can do pipe upper. I think it's upper. I might just break this, but we'll see.
I think it's upper.
Or title.
Or title.
Yeah, title would work. So yeah, so upper made them all uppercase, right? But if I were to select one, it essentially, if we look at the URL, it passes the value to the URL all the time. So now we just have tag equals distinctio. Okay. And so now all of these have the tag distinctio.
So how do you make it so the user can now go back to all?
I'd probably have like maybe a clear filter button, and essentially all that is a link to that page.
If you're really advanced, you put an agent on the page, agent URL, and when it detects that there's a tag filter in the URL, that's when the clear button shows up.
Yeah. So here, I think you could do this if you have URL query mixer. You could probably do that with URL query mixer too. No.
Yeah. Agent's
so
it's super simple with agent.
Right. But if you had both like filters for category and tag, but you only wanted to clear tag, how can you do that? That's the one that I haven't figured out.
If you had multiple, then you just you could select this to be so I didn't have a placeholder option there. So you just do arrow select that. So selected. So now if because if you have multiple fields, then you're going to want
you're going to have to
what you do is
set an option that's blank, no value.
Yeah.
What you'll do is you do this, right? And then in the select option, you'll be like maybe you do none or something like that, and the value is blank. Excuse me.
However, that won't clear the tag from the URL, which makes
right.
But I think this will work. Let's check.
No, it will work. No, it will work. Yeah. But it wouldn't remove the clear button. The clear button would still show until you clear it out.
So if you choose none, it's still it will have. Well, actually, no, it doesn't.
Oh no, it actually took it out completely. Look at that.
Yeah.
No, I did not expect that. There you go. That works for me.
So there you go. Nice.
I think you set value to none. I think
Yeah,
I think
I
you
set
left value
the
blank.
value's just blank. There's
Blank,
nothing in
right?
there. Yeah.
Right. So I got rid of the tag.
Yep. Okay, so some general concepts here. Okay. I know I'm using Foundation 6 forms. Okay. And some people might be like, oh, well, how come this isn't just a pre-baked thing in Total CMS or something? Maybe eventually, but I'm just leveraging the tools that we already have. So when a form has a get URL action, essentially what that does is what it will do is it will take every field and it passes it to the URL, to the page you're on, right? So that's why when I did this, it passes, if you had multiple fields, it would pass every single field to the URL, okay? So, and that's what I need in order to filter out things in a blog list. So if I wanted, I could then do, let's do ET, right? So if I just do tag equals ET, enter, guess what? I automatically filter that by ET, right? Okay. So all I'm utilizing this form for is to generate this URL for me. That's it. So the Foundation 6 form is a tool that lets me that lets the user define things in the URL. Okay. Then inside, excuse me, like we saw earlier in the loop blog, I can then filter based on that field in the URL.
Do you want to push this just slightly further and show the difference of moving this from tag filtering to full-on search query with the search input box?
So this page had a search field earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, by default. But yeah, I mean, you could have here we can actually add it to this exact form.
Yeah,
you could filter and search all at the same time if you really wanted to. So inside of blog, right, there's search, which is enabled. And here you have search key. This key needs to map to your search field. Okay. So you would go in here and the field name would be Q. Okay. Because I don't know, you could also do search. You could make it whatever you want as long as those two fields match. Okay. And I need here. All right. And I guess we need a submit button now, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and turn off the auto submit.
So now I need a submit button.
Or you can call it search.
Oh yeah, or filter or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, search, whatever. All right, so we'll publish that. While it's publishing, give me a second here. 1 second, guys.
And what's kind of cool in this aspect is that then what you're kind of adding here with the search field, the search text field will search all fields in the index. Yes. While you can filter specifically by tag. So you can say ET with the specific word, which is,
so let's search for, looks like centralized is used a lot. So we'll do.
Where's your search? Where's your submit button? Did you put it in the wrong spot?
Oh, where's my submit button?
Did you put it into the tag field at the bottom?
Oh, I put it inside the select box. Oops, my bad.
Yeah, well, that's not going to work.
And actually, instead of this in this text input, another thing you could do is you could do, if you do keyboard type search, right? It'll make it a browser specific search field, which gives you like, search history, remembering and all that jazz.
Wait, does it do that? Like a drop down?
Yeah.
I've never used that. See, you learn new things every day. this one time at TCMS camp.
And then it also gives you this little X thing. Right?
Are you serious? That's how that happens?
Yeah.
I'm so mad right now. So angry. So angry.
So yeah, so now I searched for Central, and it found, Central is in all these titles. But let's say I wanted to combine this. So I want to search and filter by tag. So we could do, or let's find one that actually here is, let's do, ET has it, right? So we'll do ET search. So now it's everything that has centralized and the ET tag, right? So these are, you're combining these searches, okay? And if you look, all this is doing is it just adds those 2 fields to the URL, right? That's all that we're using the search form for, is to manipulate the URL so that our blog list can look at the URL and filter based on it.
Pro tip. While Joe is showing this on this page, which would be a public facing side, you can build this for yourself if you're not using the custom admin. If you're building your own admin for your customer, you can provide these exact same features for your customer to search through their blog entries. So, I had a customer site that we migrated over 2,000 articles, and we didn't give them access to the custom admin. We built one for them. So we built this exact same feature, but into the admin we built for them. So they can still search their data. They can filter it out their own way. This can be used on both sides of a front end website as well as a custom portal that you build for your customers.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people are like, what do I do to build my custom backend area? The same stuff you would use to build the content on your website.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. The only difference is when you're loading into an object, you're loading into a form.
Exactly.
No, that's really the only difference.
Any other questions on a lot of that? Dave, did that help you out?
Joe, maybe I don't want to go down a rabbit hole now, but manual sorting. I'll just give you an example. I share again my screen. A list like this, yeah. That's what I'm working currently on.
Sure.
It's not sorted alphabetically, but a little bit with this field, yeah, service assistant, service assistant, okay, but not by how should I say, by letter of the forename or last name, but manually. How can I, inside such a list, sort people manually? Is there
Yes,
a
there's a
way?
manual. There's a manual. So how do you want to? So there's the manual sort features. I just implemented that. Okay, and is there any logic to how these people are sorted? Are, like, for example, okay, do you have like the CEO is first? It doesn't matter his name, but is the CEO always first, and then the CFO is second, right? So like the title, right?
These two are first, but I would have to be capable to put him at the first place and him in the second.
Okay.
That's the manual sorting thing I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's for sure not easy.
Now, before Joe talks about the cool manual sorting feature, which is in Total CMS, which can handle this.
Okay.
Outside of, before Joe did that, before Joe just released that, what was I doing? Okay. So because I use Pro, because it gives me custom schemas, I just created a field called sort, and you put a number in there, and that's it. That's how I was doing prior to this. So prior to what Joe has done, that's what I was doing. Now there is the ability to do manual sorting based on the field of your choice, and you can put that into the you can go into the actual collection and manually sort that now from the custom admin. That is now there. It requires couple of things to set up in the project first, and then you have the ability to sort. So if you actually want to let me load a project that is I'm currently working on that has the exact same logic. I'll let Joe take a break, get some water, man. I don't want you to heave over. If you don't mind, I'll throw myself at this for a few minutes.
Go for it.
Take yourself a little break. Give me a second. I'll move to my smaller screen here so everybody's eyes aren't well, it's for those mature eyes. Just load up the project and get my screen ready here. Okay. So we have a dance studio. We have a list of staff. And in here, we have the owner, office manager, and they have a couple of people with higher positions, and then we have all the instructors. So these are manually sorted. I've made her first, and inside of the collection, you see here where there's a manual sort order, and I've set to manually sort it by ID. So I've got Natalie first, I have Luann next, I have Gisela, and then I have Eleni, and then the rest just fall in line. So this is the one on the collection side. Now in the project itself, in order for this to function, on the loop collection, up here, there's a new toggle for manual. And in here, I put manual sorted by ID. And I didn't put anything in the order here. I left it blank. You can put it in here, same way I did it the other way, but I wanted the dynamic ability to move it myself at any time. So I said, I want to sort it manually by ID, but I don't provide the details. And then I said, sort the remainder by name. So if we actually go back to this, you'll notice that it's got in my collection, you'll see here that I have the first 4 are arranged. And then you see here, A, B, C, D, E, now they're all in alphabetical order.
Great.
So this was just fresh off the press. Joe just released this and gave us that ability to do this. So you kind of have to do 2 things. You have to do that pre-setup in the collections, set what you're going to sort by, and then move on. Now, Joe, it's my understanding that you can provide multiple fields of sorting in here, correct? Or you could...
Yes. So if you had one grid that you want to sort by ID, and the next grid you had another layout that you wanted to sort by title, you can define multiple manual sorts. So it's very flexible.
And there is the ability, and this has been here for a while. Give me a sec to pull up this other one. There, you can actually, and Joe and I have worked on this before in another project we were talking through. You can have multiple sort filters in the actual loop collection, and the order that you put the loop filters in actually affect the sorting. So let me show you this quickly. Just opening another collection here, another object here. All right, so on this tab seam, you see here I have loop through the team. I have a sort by name, followed by sort by groups reverse. And what this does is you'll see that the group admin is first, then the users. So we sorted by the name as well as by the group. So you could apply multiple filters to your loop collection for sorting. You don't just apply one. You can have multiple options in there. So this in here, sorting by name, sort by group, and it kind of works backwards. So it sorted by groups by name. So it had all the admins first, then it had them by name in that group. So you do have this power too. And feel free to play around with that to see if you can get where you want to get. Now, in your specific
Josh, can I pause you really quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, you were lucky that admin alphabetically comes before users, right?
Correct. In this case.
Yes.
Or
now, can I show just really quick, if you go into that loop collection, let me show you how you could do that with manual sort. Let's say admin didn't come before users, or let's say you wanted users before admin.
Initially, it didn't. I had to reverse it, right?
No, I'll show you how to do that with manual sort.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So go and click on manual. Right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do is it group? I'm sorry, what was it? Groups? What was
it was groups.
Groups. Okay. So the property, you're going to do property groups. Okay. And then the order is you would just put users or admin and users, right? And then sort remainder, you could do name. Yeah. Now what that's going to do is, because there were multiple admins, it'll use the sort remainder to sort within the group.
We get
that broke.
Is it the quotes? Is that because they're in quotes?
No, quotes should be fine there. Oh, interesting. Okay.
What do we got?
Single quote.
Unknown filter, manual sort.
Oh, it's fine. Okay.
I have to play with that some more.
I'll play around with that. But that's how you should do it. Now, actually, watching you do this, I was thinking, like, I was thinking, what if I just hard coded it so you always have to define the manual sorts inside the collection? Well, what if I got rid of it to define it here? What do you think about that?
I think doing it in the collection, because like you looked at the other project I had, how quick and easy with my quick and easy edit is to go in there and quickly switch that.
Because to be honest, I mean, that's the best way to do it.
It is. No, I would agree, because like if you looked at in here for me, right, if I want to go and move Natalie to second place, I can just easily go in here, boom, grab that ID.
Yeah.
Right. I can grab this out, just exit out, paste it there, save and call it a day. And now Natalie is in second place.
Yeah.
Right. Like that I think keeping as many settings, like especially when it comes to dynamic settings, out of the project and keeping it into the admin, like that really gives the ability to have,
because that would allow me to remove 2 of those settings in that little field thing, right? Because it would just always be in the collection. I think I need to do that.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I'll do that. I'll do that in the next update, and I'll warn everybody. I don't think anyone's really using that, but yeah.
No, it's I mean, it did exactly what I wanted to do here, where before I would have to go in and add those numbers into the system, and you're finally going to kind of take that out for me, so I don't have to worry about it.
Did that make sense to you, Matthias? Okay, so let me do a little bit explaining on what that is.
Just a second. I need the sorting within this long list Yeah. I want inside this long list. At this point, maybe I have these both ladies here in this order. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. It's
Again,
in
so
in the middle of the long
what
list.
Josh was showing is you can sort by the ID. So if you really want this person and then this person, you need to know their IDs, and then you can define that list inside the collection, and that's how that would work, right? So
and what you could, and there is a couple of magical ways you can sort, like, because you have that big list, right? And if it's all in one loop, right, and you're doing through categories, like when you sort your categories, because you can have your categories sorted, and it would loop through the categories first. So you could have CEO category first, and then you can have it looped by name. There is ways of doing that. There's multiple ways to approach it. It all depends on your data, but you have to go, what's first? What's the hierarchy of the sorting? What is the first thing? What is the secondary thing? And then what are you manually sorting as well?
Okay, so if we go to the collection settings, okay, you can see examples of how you can set this. Okay, so here's an example here, and this is what you could copy. This is a sample configuration that you could put into the collection. No, actually, I probably should modify this because
because you don't actually need that front. You just need the secondary.
I need to modify that. Okay.
Yeah. Because
yeah, this is what gets saved in the actual collection JSON, but we just want this little doodad right there. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to copy that. Okay. And then what we can do is you go into your collection.
But does that still require you to put, you still have to turn on manual sort in the project and list the first one, don't you? Like, that's what I'm confused about. You give us in the project, you have to put ID in, but you only give us one slot for first.
Yeah, but because you're basically choosing which manual sort method you want for that manual sort. I only allow one manual sort, right? But let's say you had different layouts that had.
So is that first one, the position is your manual sort, and then the secondary is what falls in place? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
And how many can you do? Can you do more than two?
So here, what you would do. So let's pretend this order didn't exist. Okay.
Yeah.
So in this case, if we look at my collection, and let me paste. So inside the collection, by the way, guys, so in overrides, there's a new manual sort orders. Okay. You could paste that in. Okay. Now, if you see here, I'm sorting by position and department. Okay. Or I have two possible ways I could do manual sorts: position and department. And these are the orders. If I'm sorting by department, I want it to be ordered like that. If I'm sorting by position, I want it to be like that. Okay. So, and in here, if I wanted this particular layout to be sorted by the what did I say, position, okay, then I would say position here. Right. Okay. And that's it. And then you could set your sort remainder to a name or whatever it is, right? And then I wouldn't have this field, I wouldn't have this checkbox, and I wouldn't have this big order box. It would just be this input, and if you wanted to exclude the remainder or not. Exclude remainder means if it's not defined inside this list, ignore it. So if someone is a position like a janitor, you don't want them there. Right? I only want CEOs, CFOs, VPs, directors, and managers. Does that make sense, Josh? So you can't have you can't have different manual sorts for a layout. But let's say I had on a different page, I wanted to sort this blog by something else, by the department, then I could do that.
When you list those two, can you use that secondary list as the set remainder, or is that set remainder specifically, like, can you do what was the two lists you had on the manual sort?
You had position and department.
Position and department. So could you put department as the remainder or no?
No, you can't.
So when you have those two lists there, you're choosing one.
Well, I mean, you could do department, but then it wouldn't use this. It wouldn't use this manual sort. No, it would just be a generic sort.
Okay.
There it is. Oh, man, there it is. Okay.
All right. Does that help, Matthias and Josh and everybody else?
I have to try. Yeah.
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 Can you take me
there
back to
is
that that admin page for a second, where you've got that manual sort entry in?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got that. So if you, I went to the docs and I just searched for manual sort. It's under collection settings reference.
Okay.
And let's see, go down. There it is. Sorting settings, manual sort. Like I said, I do have to tweak that. It shouldn't, you only need this part.
Okay.
Now there is some other ways to kind of get around.
There it is.
You can kind of get around sorting things, especially if you have relational data. So on this page, for instance, what you're seeing on this, okay, so you have category, 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 category. Now, this whole front page is literally one single loop. And what's being looped is categories from actually it's a header image category. And there are header image categories for each of these news items. For instance, if you go to business, you get this business slideshow. If you switch to health, you get a health slideshow. So we used those slideshows that were created to create the initial sorting. So this is top news is just featured posts. So it loops through, this is our first loop, and then it grabs out of the blog collection featured posts. Then it loops to the next gallery, which is business. And then it uses from the gallery an intro, but then it pulls from the blog collection, then the featured business posts. So what's really cool is that what's actually happening there, this sorting feature, Matthias, isn't actually coming from blog. It's actually coming from a completely different collection, which is handling the headers, but then we're actually using it to create these divisions on this page and then pull the related blog posts from that other blog collection.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
All right, so I need to create a nice demo for this, but you can actually do that. You don't need an external header collection for that anymore. Okay.
Yeah, no, there's
so like Matthias, you that page that you were showing, I'm assuming you're trying to mimic that page that you were showing us. It looked like that team of people or that company was separated into groups as well, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you could create manually create, at the top is going to be this group of people, and then next is going to be this group of people, and next. But what you could, if you wanted, like in Josh's layout that he was just showing, we could automate that entire thing. Okay. So let's say you added a new group of people, right? And you wanted that group to automatically be added, you could do that. Okay, let's go ahead. I can try to create a simple demo of that.
And don't get me wrong, mine is automated as well.
Yes, yours is automated. Yes. But I want to show you a new way to do it.
New ways are good. But I also have a crap load of additional data within those categories that are using for something else. So
sure.
There's a little mix. But if you can make it easier, I'm down for that. So the thing with these Twig, there's like 1,000 ways that we can do it, and you want the most optimized.
Yes. So inside of the collection loader now, okay, I'm I'm going to delete all this search stuff from this page for now. Okay. Just to simplify this page since we're already playing with it. Turn that off. Okay. So inside collection loader, let's say I want to load my blog. Okay. I want to do, there's these things called action filters now. And what we can do is we can do something called a group by. Okay. And we're going to do a group by, well, I'm going to do category. All right. Or let's do author. Why not? All right. So we're going to group by author, and we're going to do by author. Or posts by author. Okay. So I'm bringing in all my blog posts, and I want to group them by author. Now, what is that going to look like? Okay. Well, let's show you what that's going to look like. So I'm gonna do X-ray data. Okay. And we're gonna debug, and we're gonna put in posts by author. Okay. So let's publish that. This is 13,000 dummy blog posts. So this data might look ugly, but it should work. All right. So if you notice here, I have this data. Okay. And the first author is Professor Oni Dickens III. And inside that, it has, it's going to have every blog post. All right. And then we have Professor Kenyon Ernan, which has a blog post. Is each one going to have its own freaking author? Do I not have an author that has more than one? Oh, well. Yeah, this demo data set's going to be interesting. But if you notice, basically what it does is it gives me every author. Let's try category. Let me see if category is going to be a little cleaner. I'll just keep it post by author, even though we're using category. It's fine. Let's see if category is any better. So that's actually, you know what we're gonna do? Or we're gonna learn a different one first. We're gonna do count by first. We're gonna count by category, and let's just rename this post by. Oh, every post, none of them have categories. Great. Fantastic.
And you're live.
Yeah. We'll go back to author then.
Thank you, love.
I love you too, Bill.
Oh, my afternoon tea arrived.
Oh, nice. Okay, so, well, interesting here. If you look at my authors, they all have one. Every post has a unique author. That's great. 5,000 of them. But what you see here is I get the author and then how many there are. Excuse me. Okay. Shoot, that's not going to make for a really great layout. I guess we'll go with it. Okay, we'll go with it. So we're going to do, we'll do group by again. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to do group by. Okay, now, how do I process this data? Okay. And if we go into, let's go into the docs really quick. If we do group by, all right. All right. So in group by, we need to access two things. Okay, we're gonna do year and the posts, or well, in this case, okay? So it's your key and then the posts. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a for loop. Okay. And in this, normally inside of this loop variable, we just give it a variable. Okay. But now we have two things. I have the author and all the posts from the author. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do author, comma, posts. Okay. And the array data here is posts by. And it's post by because that's the variable that I set inside this. Okay, so I'm gonna get my author and all the posts for that author. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is so let's go ahead and we're gonna add in a header. I'm not gonna make this pretty, guys, but you'll get the concept. So I'm gonna have a header. Okay, and inside this header, I'm gonna put in the author. Okay, and then inside that, I don't know, let's do a there's only one per one, but we can use our imaginations. I'm going to do author, so we're going to do in the details. This could be interesting. Okay, so in the title, well, I want to create a details for every single blog post. Okay, because posts here there could be more than one. Okay, so I need another for loop. And here I'm going to do for post in posts. Okay. So here I'm going to loop through all the posts and assign it the post. And here we're going to do post dot title. And here for fun, we're just going to do inside here, let's do HTML, and we're going to do post dot summary. Okay, so in here, so we're going to have an author, and then for every author, it's going to build this layout. It's going to have the header, and then below it, it's going to have this little details for every single post from that author. Pretty cool. Here we'll also do this here. I'm going to chuck this in a container, and we'll put like a left margin on it. ML 64, 128. All right. So now it's going to be indented, so it's kind of, so we can kind of see it like that. I don't need this X-ray data anymore. Let's publish it. See how that looks. Boom. So now I have the author, and then for each blog post, again, each in this demo data, every author only has one post, right? But imagine you had the author and then every single post from that author, and then the author, and then every single post from that author, right? So same concept as Josh's view, where he had the category and then blog posts. Obviously, his looks pretty. I said I was not going to try to make it look pretty, right? Just so you can kind of see the raw how it kind of works. And in your view, Matthias, you would have, I don't know if it was department or whatnot, because you'd have your department, and then inside that department, you could then, But now the question is for yours, Matthias, is how do you do this plus the manual sort? I don't know that yet. I think that's too much for my brain at the moment.
It's no deal breaker.
Oh, okay.
I knew I did open a rabbit hole with this. Yeah. No problem. It's okay.
But I think that is a really cool, that group by is a very cool concept where you can automatically build these layouts that are that are grouped. So
So
any other questions on that? I know I went maybe I went a little quick on that. Not sure. Or if anyone else. Oh, Dave, I think we skipped your question. We never went back to it. Don't want to make sure we forget you before I lose my voice.
Okay. So anyway, I've been redoing this old site that I did 10 years ago in Foundation 1 and Total CMS 1. And one of the pages, here we go.
I have to go to sleep. Bye.
Oh, bye, Matthias.
Yep.
All right, so here's the the About Us page there. It's got a blurb on general stuff about the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then a section on their management team.
Okay.
And this is the original version. I looked at it. I used feeds. I was thinking maybe I was either going to end up using blog or feed, but I didn't know how I could get it to do what I want. So basically, this is just crap. Where is it? Talk about slow. Oof. Anytime now.
That's weird. I don't see the page loading. Oh, there it goes. Nice. Okay.
All right, so here we are. I couldn't even remember how I set it up. This was 10 years ago, so I must have asked you because I'm pretty sure I didn't come up with this on my own. So yeah, basically I would just put the management team, drop a picture in, put a thing here, and then it would just kind of show up like this.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a lot of people in there. That's not that many. Anyway, so I want to translate that to Foundation Total CMS 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what method I should use or how I should get it to do it.
Okay.
So this is the new page.
Mm-hmm.
This section here is just going to be that first part of text. This is what we do. This is what we're about. And then down here, I guess I was going to either use a blog or a feed. I don't know which one to use and can't figure out how to set it up.
It seemed like pretty simple. You just needed an image, a title, and some text, right? A description. Is that all you need?
Not even that much, really. Oh, geez. Okay.
Because
yeah, so well, this is just the header above the whole section.
Yeah.
And then I just got this text field here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I did this. But yeah, just this is about the person and a small picture of the person.
Yep. And it seems like you could just use a feed. I mean, I'd probably right now it seems like the name is just defined in the content. I mean, feed has a title. You could use that as the name field if you wanted. And then that way, you can at least leverage that, maybe make it a heading or something like that. And you have an image. So yeah, feed could get the job done.
Okay, so how do I don't even remember how I did it really for the old version.
Okay.
like I said, that was 10 years ago. I must have asked you or somebody because
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Sure.
And all I'm doing here is just toss the stuff around and see where it ends up.
Yep. So in here, if you just go to the admin area, and go to your feed. Oh, look, so you have an image title, you have Kathy, and then content, you have your content. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. So you already have one. I think, yeah, perfect. Looks like you did it. Okay, so now
that was easy.
All right, so displaying it now. If we go to employees.
No, about us.
About us. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna go underneath that.
Okay, so in your feed grid stack.
I'm gonna use a feed grid.
Okay, so I see. Okay, see that feed grid stack?
Mm-hmm.
So you're lucky. The feed grid kind of does a lot for you. Take it outside of your loop feed. Either the loop feed and the feed grid is kind of an either or thing. Okay, feed grid does the loop for you. It's kind of like the beginner level of feed. Okay, so take that feed grid and move it outside the loop. Hey, no, you already have it on the page. You already have a feed grid on the page. Yep, take that and move it outside the loop feed stack. There you go. All right. Now let's look at the setting for that loop, that feed grid. All right. So your collection, I mean, in the admin area that I saw, you would just use the feed. Now you could create a new collection called management team if you wanted. Probably would make sense. But you would added. Yep. So but if you want to do that, we could do that too. So go to your admin area and let's create a new collection called management team.
Get this thing out of the way. Move.
Okay, so at the bottom, do new collection. So right now you had it, you added Kathy into the, if you see it's in the feed collection where it says collections feed. Okay. But we want to create a one called management team. So go ahead and do new collection. And so in the CID, do management dash team. That's what you had in the stack. Okay. And then give it a name, management or whatever you want. That's what shows up in the sidebar there. Okay. And then the schema, where it says schema, okay, you're going to choose feed. Okay. And let's scroll down and save it. Now we have management team. So now we need to create a new management team member. Right. So click on the.
Hold up. No, hold up. This is the cool thing with Total CMS, folks.
Yes.
Click on the feed collection.
So you see how the button at the top says new post? We're not really creating posts here, but that's what feed is by default. But you're kind of bastardizing it, right? So inside the dashboard setup screen, you see there's a suite of settings called dashboard setup. Right in the middle of the screen. Hey, up, down. There's a header that says dashboard setup, and it's above 4 inputs.
Ugh.
Do you not?
No, I don't.
It's in the form.
Side? Oh shit!
See, there's a big header. It says dashboard setup. Okay.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. See, you see where it says plural label?
Yep.
All right. Maybe call it members or something like that.
Team, maybe.
Team, sure. And then Maybe singular is member. And save that. Okay, now look at the button at the top. It says new member. Pretty cool, right?
Yep.
Okay, so click on that.
Oh no, but hold on. You're missing out on the best feature of Total CMS.
What's that?
Go click on the left side under collections, go back to feed, where you have that member that you added already.
Oh, okay. I was saying I know what you're doing.
Okay. So now you're gonna click on the 3 dots beside Kathy, and you're gonna does this not work in the preview?
Oh, it might not work in preview. You probably have to preview in the browser.
Command
That's a
P on
pop over.
keyboard. Yeah, hit Command P on there. And then go back into that. This is a cool feature, I promise you. It is neat. So you hit there, and now you're going to click clone. Yeah. Now, before you do anything, where it says collection, any collection that shares the same schema, you can move that object and clone it into the other. So since you've already done the work, now you can click the ID. Make sure you change the ID to Kathy or Kathy with her last name. I don't know how you want to do your IDs. Or you just get rid of that. Yeah. And then just hit clone post. So now instead of making all this extra work, you've already did the work in one and they're sharing the same schema. Now you've copied it over. So now if you click on management team, now you've now got a post in. It's such a cool feature. It is so underrated, but it is makes me.
That was good. I actually didn't think about that for this case. Perfect. Yeah.
Is a perfect use case, especially in people in standard where you're using the built-in schemas. It allows you to move things between collections. So basically, with that already, you should be able to preview in your you should be able to preview on your team page in the project, and actually Kathy should show up.
Yep. So now you created a collection called management team. So now we can go back into your RapWeaver project. Oh. By the way, guys, I think for the first time ever, my wife made a cameo on live. That was crazy.
Wasn't on purpose. So now, Joe, is there any picture settings within the feed grid or not really?
We'd have to look. I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
Filter sorting. No, there's no picture settings. And I can understand why. It's kind of feed grid was kind of meant to be kind of a full image. Hit preview again. What else do you just have a photo or do you have the text in there? There's no text.
Well, I don't think I added any text. Gotta add that in the text thing.
No, you had text because you had a title, and inside of go back to the admin, or you have the admin still in the Safari window behind you, right? So in here you have a title, you have content, so that's in there.
It is there.
That could be it could be a bug in feed grid. It's possible. I'll be honest, I don't think many people have actually used feed yet. So
but in this case, you can still use a loop collection to loop
you could use loop, or a feed loop stack, yeah.
But okay.
So the grid stacks, basically, you could do build custom layout there. See in the settings, there's a build custom layout. Check that. Okay. And then what you can do is you can kind of build your own layout. So what we could do is we can add a Total CMS 3 image stack into that feed grid. Or
delete that
into the
second
feed
one
grid.
there. Delete that. No, yeah.
He wants the 2 column. That's fine. Yeah, he wants the 2 column in there. That's good. So let's add a total CMS 3 image into the left or the right column. I mean, sorry. It's the blue image stack. Up. Image. Yep. Okay. So now, so for the object ID here, go to the feed grid stack really quick. Do I have a collection management team? Oh, yes, everything is object. Okay, that's fine. All right, go to the image stack now. And then where it says object ID in the settings, just going to type the word object. That's it. Okay. And then you see where it says use variables. Check the object button. It's right below where you were. Down. Right. There's 3 buttons. There's 3 buttons right at the top. Object collect property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Click on the object one. Perfect. Okay. Now click on custom collection and property directly under the object input. Okay. Collection is going to be management-team. And the property is, I assume it's image. I can verify that one for you 1 second.
Image.
Image.
It's image.
Yeah. Okay, so the image. Okay. Perfect. So now that displays our image. Okay. You can tweak the sizing settings later, but I mean, that should do it. Okay. And now for our content. Okay. So probably add in a Foundation 6 header stack.
Foundations. Foundation 6. No,
yeah.
Foundation 6.
Yeah, a Foundation 6 header stack.
Yeah.
There we go. And then in the content of that, you're going to put in 2 curly braces.
Object.title.
Exactly.
And close squirrelies. Now, if you want to know where you get that from, if you click back on the feed grid stack there, that's just 2 above. And in the tips panel on the side, it showed if you scroll down,
so you see there's macro hints.
Though your image one, Joe, you got to fix that because it says post.id. It should say object.
Oh, where does it?
On the image one.
Okay. Oops. Yep. That was a copy paste.
Yeah. So you see there, you have title, date created, date updated, content. So now you can put, so you see there's content is object.content. So now you can put like a text stack underneath.
Yeah, so copy that object.content macro inside the settings. You can just copy it. That way you don't need to remember it. Yep. Yeah, I forgot I did these.
Past Joe is super helpful. They're super helpful, those things.
I know.
So now you can put a text stack if you want. Just throw a text stack in there.
I'd put an HTML stack myself.
Is it a style text field?
Yeah, it's a style text field.
Okay, never. Yeah, if it's a style text field, HTML.
Yeah.
100%.
Would it be better to use just total CMS?
Just use HTML. Just search the HTML in the
Foundation 6 stacks. They're black ones. They're the black stacks.
Yeah, it's probably near the bottom. Yeah, right there.
There you go.
Grab it. HTML.
Put it right under the header. There you go.
So the reason why for everyone else watching this later down the road, with a styled text field, it already puts in the P paragraph or header, whatever you've done in style text, it puts the HTML in there for you. So if you put a text stack, what you end up with is extra padding because the text stack will put paragraph at the top and paragraph at the bottom around your styled text. So it adds additional spacing and formatting problems. So if you're ever bringing a styled text out of Total CMS onto the page, use an HTML stack. It is the best way to make sure your content looks great and you don't have these styling issues. So now inside of that HTML stack, you're just going to paste that macro you copied. Just select all, delete, and paste. Now you should be able to preview this page and you will have your content. I need to check your 2-column settings though. See what you did on your 2-column. Just do medium auto and for both and just see what happens. Why it did. Why it squished it. It's in some sort of.
Shit, I've been muted. Sorry. So we're in a feed grid stack. The
So
grid stack creates a grid
right?
for you.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want a grid, I mean, we can adjust the grid settings, or we could. So go back to your edit mode. So in the feed grid, again, feed grid creates the grid for you, right? So if you look at the you could just do grid style list. That would probably do it for you. Yeah.
That's what he was on.
That's what it was.
Oh, it was set to that?
Yeah.
Oh, then that could be a bug.
There's a one column. He's in a one column.
But that's not doing it. It's the feed, because it's literally a grid is the stack that he's using. So go back to the feed grid stack and go to that grid style. And there was a custom option. Let's see what that was. Grid custom.
Yeah, just set it to be like 1,000 or something.
Yeah.
Just for now. Let me file a bug that list option should have done what we wanted.
Well, that's pretty much what I wanted. Maybe not that what I wanted is same as this.
Yeah, I mean, like, what you wouldn't necessarily have to use if you're not trying to do a grid, and if the list was working, you can use a loop collection stack and just manually put in the
which
settings.
Is probably what you want, because feed grid automates some stuff for you, so it like creates like little cards, right? And you might not want that, right? So if you don't want that, then you just basically replace feed grid with a loop with a feed loop, and it'll output exactly what was in that 2-column.
So use the feed loop.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yep. So there are the purple stacks.
Loop feed. Then on the loop feed stack, you're going to have to make some changes now. You're going to have to do collection is master, management team. Lowercase t. Now, in this,
does that matter?
It does matter. It matters because it has to be exactly the way your the ID of your collection is. And none of the collection's IDs can have capitals. It auto changes it to lowercase.
Yeah.
So, and you can tell that by, if you have that Safari window behind you, if you quickly poke back at that, if you poke at it, you see there at the top how it says collections management team at the top. That is the ID. So even though you've named it with a capital, if you look on the list on the left, it's management team with no dash. That's the name But when you're on the collection, that's the ID. So that is exactly how you have to put it into the loop.
Okay.
Otherwise, it won't point to the right thing. Joe, you're still muted. Joe, you're muted. Joe, you're muted.
Sorry. Nope. I was talking to somebody else. My bad.
Okay, sorry. You're looking at the camera. I was like, ah. All right. So now looking at this hint, just so you know, there is a problem, and I will direct you to the fix. So if you look down at the hints on the bottom, you see that it says IDs, post ID, content, post content. So you see here the variable is not object, but post. What that means is now we have to fix all these variables that you have. So if you click on the image first, we need to switch the variable that says object at the top to post. And then the same thing for the title and the content on the left side, in the header and the HTML. We need to replace object with post. So just
in the text itself.
Yeah, in the text itself. You just double click into the field and actually edit it. So remove object and make that post. Maybe one day maybe next week or something, I can get to Joe, maybe let me take over a live stream and I can go through why these variables are so important. Some of the stuff that I've been working on recently is loops within a loop, and you can call in from internal loops, IDs from upper loops internally. And so that's why these variables are actually super important, especially when you have custom collections. It allows you to do some pretty cool stuff. All right, so that should, and you can delete that feed grid stack at the bottom that you pulled everything out of. You can just get that out of the way and preview that, see what we get. Boom. So now it's not part of the card. It's exactly how you kind of want it.
Boom.
A little too big, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so if you look at so scroll up, what's the content above it, right? What do you have that in the other container above? What are you using in there? No, above where your other content is. So that's a container with a one column, right? So what's on that? What's the setting on that one column? So you see here you have 12, 8, and then the alignment is horizontal center, right? So if you go on this one, do 12, then medium 8, and then column alignment center. There you go. And now you can hit preview. That will give you exactly what you want. Oh, and now it's that same width.
Yep.
Now, of course, on your two column, you could put some padding. Yeah, I was just going to say, put some padding on that 2 column, or gutters, and it will push you push the.
There's padding above this in there.
Yeah, that's fine, but yeah, if you're looking for the alignment there, yeah. But you know what you could do? Go back into edit mode, and I'll show you some pretty cool. There's 2 cool things you can do there if you're wanting to do some alignment. So, number one thing you could do is pull out the header above the 2 column.
Take it out of the 2 column?
Yeah, just put it right above the 2 column right there. Yeah. And then on the 2 column, you can click on the 2 column, and then there'll be a X margin, the gutters on the X. Do that. Yeah, now preview. So now the image will be aligned with the content text, and Kathy's above. Now, in this case, because you put her full name inside of the content, you could just get rid of the header if you don't want it, because her name is actually in that content. Right?
Yeah, but
because like you might not want Kathy and then Kathy Kandej. Like it depends on how you want that. Or you could put Kathy Kandej in that title section and remove it out of the content. Right? Swap it, put the full name at the top, and put Kathy into the content area.
Is this this is from the
title? That's from the title. So if you go to your Safari window in the back, you can actually modify that. So you see there at the top, you put Kathy, and then in the content, you put the full name. So if you put Kathy Candage in the title, then down there, you could just say Kathleen.
Yep.
And
Save that, baby.
And then you're going to have really cool looking section there.
Oh, that's the old one. Oops, never mind.
Yeah, just go back to Rapid Weaver and just preview. Just pick the eye again. There you go. Dr. Bob's your uncle.
My long lost uncle.
And there's a lot more cool things you can do with images. I don't know if you noticed, like the one that I was showing off earlier, the dance team one, where all the faces were squared and centered. That's using crop focal point. And those are just additional image settings that you can set up where you could actually square the image and have it, zoom, have the face in there. This image that you have of her is actually already pretty close. So it'd be pretty awkward to try to crop this. But if you had a fuller photo, you could have that ability to crop images and focal points and stuff. But as of right now, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, the problem with all this is that there's 14,362 different things to know. And
it takes time.
I
Believe me, I didn't know everything. It takes time. You have to be patient with it, right? It's I didn't get here in a day,
It's
called a learning curve.
Yep.
Oh, believe me, it's definitely curvy.
You made that original site 10 years ago, right? You did that somehow. See?
Yeah, somehow.
You can do it today again.
I can't remember how, but I did it.
Listen,
it's also called the balding process.
I'll tell you this really funny story. Okay. I made something absolutely phenomenal with loop collection and deck in a training session on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I went to replicate it. It took me an hour and a half because I forgot. I forgot exactly what I was doing, how I did it, and I don't know how I logicked it on the training. And then the next day I was just blank. But yeah, I developed a really cool thing with Table Pro and loop collection and deck to create very powerful looking tables that you could never have made in any CMS. Now possible. So I'm pretty excited about that. There's some pretty cool stuff we can do.
It's almost like having to learn two whole programs, Rapid Weaver and Total CMS. And it's like you need a PhD for Total CMS.
The thing is that I mean, I'll be honest. People like me and Davide, Chris, we probably scare the crap out of people with half the things we show, because we've been playing with it throughout the whole beta, like extensively. I mean, I have been building Total CMS 3 sites since March of last year, every day. I started in March. I mean, Bill Burden was way ahead of me. I actually reached out to him for a couple of questions because he'd been playing with it more than me, right? And it's just playing with it and learning and getting going on. But I started training people on Total CMS 3 and building sites in March of last year. And throughout the beta, I mean, so much has changed. Like, it's funny, we go back to some of our first projects and Joe has enhanced like 1,000 features that we had to like kind of jerry-rig together. And now it's like, oh, now you can just drag this blog grid thing that's already create this nice grid for you. Like, yeah, where was that when I was building this 6 months ago? Right. So I think what's really cool is, one, like Joe accepts tons of feedback throughout the whole beta process to build to allow us to have the crazy thing that Total CMS 3 is right now. And like, I'm telling you, man, like the sites that I have in my pipeline, like that I have in the next 2-3 months, I would have never been able to build it. Like I got this site coming up that's literally a car's classifieds website, and it's fully powered by Total CMS 3. It's insane. Like you can build anything. And we used to have these limitations, and we don't have limitations. And that's the beauty of having this community with people, right? Is that you have one Joe who built it and built a site with it where he's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I need to make this differently or do this differently, because he actually had his hands in building his own website. That, and then you have other people like Davide, Chris, me, and I mean, even a whole bunch of the beta testers. I've seen people doing things that I didn't even think of, right? And that have really helped shape the tool and made it better. And we have things that we can build. We also have people you can reach out to. And, you know, Chris offers training, I offer training. So if some people are very serious into getting into some of the sites that they need to build, I know somebody who literally built in their training costs into the price of the site that they were building for somebody. So the training for them, their customer paid for it with the training got with me. And then also they now can build other Total CMS websites for their future clients, and their first client paid for that training. Right.
What other CMS does stuff like this?
Yeah.
Right. And what's interesting is something, Joe, when I first got into the community, something I used to hear Joe say a lot, and he's been too busy building Total CMS 3 to yell it at us recently. But one thing I heard him always say is that, you know, you're not charging enough for your websites. And he's 100% right.
Yeah.
People always say, oh, there's Wix, there's this. I kid you not, I got a text message. I will read out a customer text message I got 3 hours ago. Good afternoon, sir. My husband wants to transfer his Wix website because they're charging him over $700 for 2 years. Oh, this is somebody who, she had a website with me, but her husband's business, they went through the Wix route, and now Wix, after getting them in for a year or two, jacked their prices up. Like $700 for 2 years for a Wix templated website. And believe me, not pretty. And, you know, people will pay, but, you know, when they realize what you can do in the level of service you have, and that's where you can tap in, you know, with a community here, you have a group of professionals that do this every day, all day.
Yeah.
Sometimes 25 hours a day. I cannot count how many 3 a.m. powwows I've been having with Joe in the last 2 months. And that's midnight Joe's time.
The beauty is that it's rock solid, so it's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
And fixes come pretty quick. I mean, I have never been more excited for building websites in my entire life.
Just waiting for Stack 6, but it doesn't really matter. So,
well, you know, and it's the cool thing is, and this is one thing I have to tell people: if you build out your site with, you know, with RW right now, especially Total CMS 3 site, the cool thing is the data is in the database. So you can easily, when Stack 6 is ready to go, transition all of your stuff into Stack 6, and you don't have to do anything with the database. It just keeps working, right? Everything's still going to be there. So, and I was telling people, like, oh, should I wait? Should I wait? I'm like, no, man. Like, I am building the largest websites I have ever built, with clients paying a hefty premium, and I'm building those in current, you know, RWA. It's not bothering me a single bit that Stack 6 isn't fully ready yet. It's going to be there. It's going to get there. That's perfectly fine. You know, there are people here in this community that are building sites in Stack 6. And it, you know, they are working in the current level of the developer beta 57. I mean, you can publish a very basic website, and I'm training some people in Stack 6 already. So it's going to get there, but I'm not worried. I mean, I build websites for a living. Stacksweaver is just for fun. It's kind of like my stacks are stuff that I built because I needed them for me in my sites that I build. And I think that the future with Total CMS is ridiculous. Like, you guys got to see some of this stuff. Like, I just built this location thing with Agent, where you have a portal for a business, and their different branch locations all sign into the same portal. And based on their user location permission, agent sets the permission, and they see the leads and customers for their location. So you have 6 different locations signing into the same portal, and it's loading the data for them for their location. And if you're a manager who has access to 2 different locations, you can switch your location in that backend portal and move between locations. Like, this is stuff we could never have built. And that's a combination of Total CMS 3 with agent. Those 2 there alone is what you can do with these sites is mind blowing.
I remember having to learn CSS nth item in order to get the grouping, and now all we have to do is click a button.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the original version under Total CMS 1 of this networking site that I'm working on, the conversion of, it's been a nightmare to maintain it, and stuff with all the data and stuff. And now what I'm trying to do is get everything automated. And like the latest stuff I've been working on is I've been adding quick edit to the page, and that's been amazing. But I was going to bring this up on Friday. I mean, there's one thing that I realized that I couldn't do in that, because on the homepage, remember, Joe, on the homepage, I've got this text field that just has some information that I'm pulling from the database. So for the public, they can read a little bit about the group, but I'm pulling out like how many active members we have and how much total business we've done and how many referrals we've given and stuff. And so those are all macros inside that text field. But I'm thinking, well, all my other stuff is in, a collection, like a styled text or whatever. And so I'm able to put it into, quick edit and edit this stuff. But is there a way, I mean, is there some structure or something within a collection where I can have those macros as part of it?
Well, what I would do, right? If you say, welcome to here, we have this many members, right? So I would actually split that paragraph into separate macros. So it's before the number, and then after the number, before the next number. And so I would put that into a single collection, an object, right? And so that you would have, before the number, after the number, so you could change the text around, but eventually you get to how many members you have, how many, leads or
well, that's what I mean, that's basically what I've been trying to.
If that was me, I thought breaking apart that first macro. So then what it looks like in your project is the macro from before the number, the macro for the number, the macro after the number, the macro for the next. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, is that I just need to take that whole paragraph and just break it into sections. So here's the text, and then the macro, here's some more text, this macro, and just do it that way.
And there's a couple of different ways you can dynamically do that too, right? So for instance, you could actually put all of that paragraph into a deck, and then it allows you to drag things around. Like there's some really, I have like already a couple of different ideas on how you could do it. There's so many cool things you can. Deck is my favorite thing that I think people don't. On Friday,
I just want to be able to put it in quick edit so that I can quickly change the text if I want.
Well, so yeah, if you made, like, for instance, I'll show you this. So for instance, on this one homepage, there's this ginormous drift section. Okay. And let me just put this up here. So on this site, you get to this section, and then there's this ginormous drift section with photos and like, how do you quick edit all of this, right? This is all part of one large drift section. So what I did was just All right, so if I get into this section here where it's the drift, right? If I quick edit, this is a full single object and collection. It's only one object in this collection. That it is this entire section. So instead of having them as individual objects, I put them into one large. It's just a collection with one object for this one section. So that it was super easy to edit. So no matter what,
you just defined a schema with all of those pieces.
Correct, because it was such a large section, and because of drift, this is a very specific. It's got to be a very specific way of doing the code. So instead, like for instance, these images are specifically mapped and specifically sized. So even if you put a portrait into this one, it will crop in on the focal point and still make it. So the dimensions are preset on these images. And that's all done, when you get into hovering into this, you just go into that object, and then you have those, float 1, float 2, all the different float images. You see this here, they uploaded this and they put the focal point over the guy. So then when that image got dropped in, that's where the focal point of that image is.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's pre-programmed into the macros. So no matter what, you'll get this. So that was a way to do that, and get that. And then like some of these other sections here, like, you have this here, this is going into a collection that I have. It's called Hero Mini, where you get like a title, larger title, and then a small section with no image. And that's what this is. And but then this is,
yeah. So, I mean, this is a more advanced use of schemas and collections, so, in that you can create a schema that's sort of like a blog, in which you define all the different kinds of things that you would want in a section with toggles where you can turn them on and off. And then when you create an object for that, you can then turn on and off what you want in that object, enter the data in, and have a completely different section, have one schema that handles a whole lot of different, or a collection of page sections or whatever that you can redefine how you want.
Well, for instance, like this header on the home page, right? You go into this header is the home hero. So this one has the button enabled. It has a specific link enabled. You got your desktop and your mobile image saved into that. We switch over to the about page, and this one has, a very similar header, but you see there's no button, but that's just because the button has been disabled. We can turn on a button, and we can put, hello in here. And, so we've defined that all headers have similar things, and that we can turn on and off. So I keep those features because I defined a schema with all the possible options that I would want, and then utilize them across. And then and then even here, like we have pages that have these sections on it, and these are, I think this is literally just a this is a custom collection for our story, because this is a whole, this leads down to another drift section. So this one was its own custom collection as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But one thing that's so cool about having custom collections, and something that's really neat about this site specific, is if we went to, like when we were on the homepage, you saw this feed of news articles here. When it pops in here, so we got this feed here of news articles. And if we go into, for instance, on this honorary page, and this here is, articles of their honoraries, right? And they have a specific way that this looks. If we go into the foundation page, and you see here, we've got a list about the foundation. And then if we look at some of these titles like summer internships, right? And if we then go into the news page, you see all these news articles. What you just saw was all of those things are in this news collection. But if they put a category of honorary, it also on the honorary page pulls the news of honoraries and displays them in a special format. So it's all that content is all coming from one collection. But based on the category you put on it, it will slide into different sections of the website. So it's also here on this page. So if we look here, we go to a foundation filter. You see here that the was it foundation? What was it? Or maybe the honoraries. You see like all the honoraries from that page are on here as well. So you have the ability to filter out and show the same content regurgitated because of the power of these loop collections and these categories. So we're using the same content, and it goes into different areas of the site to display differently. So if you're wanting to read about the foundation, you're getting the foundation news, and that's coming into here. And yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty neat the way that the filters work and how we can actually work on all of this, where you have this content. The huge thing that I do with all my projects is I do a mind map. I map out what my site pages are going to be and what the content is. And then, then I start designing what content is used without the site. Some of this content, is it the same content? Why would we put the same content in twice? So if we can do a smart filter, like, let's filter out the news articles for honoraries, and it will show on the honoraries page, but also on the news page, develop that out. And I guess to say there's no wrong way, but there is efficient ways to do it and to map that out.
Yep.
We didn't get too sidetracked there.
So have any of you guys ever had problems, or at least recently had problems logging into cPanel with Safari?
I don't use a host with a cPanel, so I could not.
Well, excuse me.
I haven't used a host with cPanel.
What's that?
You're a chili dog? Or now with exact hosting?
Yeah, they're not chili dog anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious, did Exact reach out to you? Has Exact reached out to you at all?
No.
No?
No.
The client, that site I'm rebuilding, is also with Chili Dog. They got an email saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to sell it to Exact Hosting." I didn't get the same email.
You didn't get that email? Interesting.
Nope. I've tried to log in recently to cPanel in Safari, and it says it says it's redirecting, and then it goes right back to the login thing. I asked Greg about it. He says it sounds like you're trying to get into it from a log out page. No, I'm not. So we tried to do it with another browser. So I did it with Firefox, and it worked. But
the last time I was using a host with cPanel was when I was with GoDaddy, and their server crashed, and that was the last time I was with GoDaddy. I bailed out. I think that's when I moved over to DreamHost.
Yeah,
I thought you used Greg for a while. You did? You weren't on Greg?
No, I had my first partnership was with somebody who was Greg, and yeah,
got it.
That was moved exponentially to my DreamHost account. I merged into my account. I was like, for the sake of my time, we'll be moving this. And my
make sure it's not blocking a pop-up in Safari.
Yeah,
I had the same problem with cPanel on my old system.
Yeah, you get a little pop-up in the top of Safari. There'll be in the actual address bar, there'll be a little thing that pops up that says pop-up blocked, and you have to hover it and click it to allow the pop-up. Otherwise, you don't even see it.
Yeah, that's why the problem I was having with Better Site Host when I was first trying to go into the control website, it was blocking the pop-up. Turn it off, and now I can get in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, they design everything to get you by the short hairs.
Hey guys, well, we
All
went
right.
quite a long time.
Yeah.
It was a good one
You
though.
would, you
Any
would
other
think it was
questions before
Friday.
we call it a day?
Sorry?
Any questions before we call it a day?
No.
Don't tempt me.
Franco,
No,
you got any
no.
questions for me? Anything I can help you with?
Did you see my message when you last time that you were showing up the depot and you were looking for File Manager? I sent you a small link for. I've been using File Manager for a while, which is quite a good system. It's open source, so it's in PHP.
I did bookmark it, and I could look more into it. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the system. I mean, I completely built everything with Depot all myself, mostly because a lot of those open source file managers, like, they're big, like, and I wanted something that was just what we needed.
Have a look at it. It's quite
Okay.
thin. It's called Thin File Manager exactly for that.
Okay.
And a lot of interesting features, so you may be interested in.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. Well, okay, guys. Hopefully we'll see some of you on Friday.
Yeah.
Sweet. Take care. You have a great day.
Cool.
This is your week.
And you. Bye.
See you later.